Which political party rejects the results of elections that don't go their way and embraces political violence? Let's journey back to January of 2017, shortly after Donald Trump won the presidency, after he defeated Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election. What a great night that was. One of the surprises of my life. I will never forget that experience. Several months, just 2 months later, before the Electoral College was certified and President Trump was inaugurated and, took the White House and the Oval Office, a Democratic congressman by the name of Jamie Raskin contested the results of an election that didn't turn out the way he wanted it to turn out.
I have an objection because 10 of the 29 electoral votes cast by Florida were cast by electors not lawfully certified.
I object to the votes from the state of Wisconsin, which should not be legally certified.
No debate.
Mr. President, I object to the certificate from the state of Georgia on the grounds that the electoral votes were not...
No debate. There's no debate.
And I object to the certificate from the state of North Carolina.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object.
I object to the certificate from the state of Alabama. The electors were not lawfully certified.
Is it signed by a senator?
Not as of yet, Mr. President.
In that case, the objection cannot be entertained. The objection cannot be entertained. Debate is not in order.
Even with the
There is
malfunction,
no
87
debate in
voting
order. Is
machines
it
that
signed by a
deny
senator?
African-American
There is no
Rights Act
debate.
and
There is no
concerning
debate
hacking by
in
the
the
Russian
joint
government.
session. There is no debate. There is no debate.
16
There
to
is no
1.
debate.
And the massive
Please come to order. The
my
objection
signature on it
cannot be
seeking a senator,
received.
but the Russian
Section 18, Title 3 of the United States Code prohibits debate in the joint session.
I do not wish to debate. I wish to ask, is there one United States senator who will join me in this letter
There
of
is no
objection?
debate. There is no debate.
That might be the only time in the history of Joe Biden's life where I like hearing what Joe Biden has to say. The objection cannot be received. The objection cannot be received. That's right. The objection cannot be received because you are not operating under the proper procedure for objecting to the certification of the Electoral College. He looked a little bit younger. Not quite as weathered by the evil in which he is partaking now, but Jamie Raskin contested the results of the 2016 election. Isn't this one of the hallmarks of a fascist party, objecting and rejecting the results of an election that doesn't go your way? This wasn't a one-off thing either. Rewind even further, all the way back to the 2000 election, Bush versus Gore. None of us are ever going to forget that election either. Who is contesting the results of that election? Will you look at that? It's Jamie Raskin again.
The court has been thwarting formation of the popular will, the most spectacular example being Bush versus Gore, where the majority, by a 5-4 vote, enjoined the counting of more than 100,000 ballots in Florida and essentially gave America its first court-appointed president.
Is it just me, or does he look exactly like Alex Berenson? Just saying, I know Alex Berenson's going to be insulted by that, but it is what it is. Everyone has a doppelganger. Jamie Raskin engaged not once, but twice in rejecting the outcome of a presidential election because he didn't like the way that it turned out. That's half of the hallmark of what makes someone a fascist, according to Raskin himself, according to Joe Biden. And it's not just Raskin. Maybe you never heard of Raskin before he was on the January 6th committee. He's not that prominent of a Democrat. What about the leaders of the Democratic Party? The people who you associate with the very term Democratic Party? What about Hillary Clinton?
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Oh, the election was stolen, which means the election was illegitimate, which means you reject the outcome of an election because it didn't go your way. Well, Hillary, you're halfway to being a fascist, according to Joe Biden. I didn't make the rules. I'm just playing by the rules that the left said here. What about those who hold the highest office in our land? The Democrats who serve as president and vice president. What about Kamala Harris?
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's the real
what I'm
thing.
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
You are absolutely right, Kamala says. He's an illegitimate president who didn't really win. What is that, Kamala? Well, I think that's rejecting the outcome of an election because you didn't like the way that it turned out. Halfway. Now we have the second most prominent Democrat in our entire country who's engaging in 50% fascist behavior. What about Joe Biden?
He is an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
I absolutely agree, says the President of the United States, the most prominent Democrat in our country, that President Trump was an illegitimate president. If he's an illegitimate president, that means you're rejecting the outcome of an election because it didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Joe Biden made the rules. Joe Biden needs to live by it.